Hello and welcome to New Filmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Movie Maker magazine. My name is Danny DeLillo and we're here at the South Park Center. I'm here with Elinor with her movie Everlasting Mum. Let's take a look at the clip. Thank you so much for being here today, Elinor, and thank you for coming all the way from Tel Aviv to be with us. We're very grateful to have you. For those that haven't seen Everlasting Mum, tell us a brief synopsis of your film.
Everlasting Mum is me making a portrait of my mom in her own house and garden, while she's reading from her mother's diaries. And so it's like this intergenerational sonnet of femininity and motherhood, and women desire things they lack in different stages of their lives.
It was so beautiful to watch, so poetic, and I'm glad you said sonnet because it felt like a Shakespearean sonnet from this wonderful perspective of her mother's diary. I discovered that it's your actual mom, who is a wonderful actress, and it was amazing to watch the screen last night at the home of the Oscars because you could literally hear a pin drop just at every scene. Where did the inspiration come for you into saying, I want to make this film and I want to make it with your very talented mum as well as you as a very talented director? When did that inspiration come that you wanted to make this project?
Well, it's just that she's this character, right? I mean, she is that thing in a way, and also not.
Yeah.
But I guess it started like me wanting to have a conversation with her. Kind of went a long way because sometimes you don't talk to your mother, like you don't hear. You know her, but you don't know her. So there were a lot of questions I wanted to ask. So it came down to this, like to make this film, to talk to her. The film is like a voiceover film. So we had tons and tons of hours of talking. And then the shooting itself, where she became this character. You cannot predict what happens when you turn the camera on a person. And so she did. Every time I turned the camera, she became like, a little bit taller, a little bit harder, and making this, like posing. She was perfect for this kind of image that I had in my head of her just posing to the camera, but then you hear her talking and become this dissonance of a character.
And just your mum is so interesting to watch, and every subtle movement just felt like she was speaking 1,000 words. It was really amazing. Now, I mean, what I also found fascinating is, an actress that could also be that vulnerable, just to be so vulnerable with their character. For you as a director, like it's your mum also. How do you work with your mum and sort of say, right, mum, I need you to do this? And because even just her combing her hair, you just felt everything that maybe what she was going through in her mind. So how did you work with her as a director?
Well, so I found out that she needs very little instructions. Like she don't, because there was something coming out of her. So I could make her more maybe natural when the camera is on. But I really liked what she brought from herself, because in her mind, this thing needs to happen, when the camera is on. And I totally, when I saw that happening, I was like, okay, I'm going to go with this thing. This is amazing. I'm not going to do a lot. So most of the working was actually on the vocal side, on the audio side of the film.
Yeah.
So she's very restrained. So I had to find ways to make it work.
Yeah.
Like she wants to talk to me and she wants to reveal stuff. People don't want to, maybe, you know, some
I
people
agree.
want to reveal stuff
Yeah.
and some people, they don't. And if they don't, you have a really like a huge door there to walk through. So it was kind of like walking, how is the expression? I don't remember that.
Yeah.
But so we had like 50 hours of talking.
Wow.
From which I could take like 4 minutes of her being off guard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying, yeah.
So to find these moments, this
Yeah.
is the directing for me. Like these moments when she's saying like really sincere things that she maybe didn't mean to say.
Yeah.
Didn't mean to say.
No, you're right, and it was amazing because I felt that you actually made us as an audience work on the language, obviously the diary, but very poetic language, on just her moves. Like my mind was racing 1,000, different thoughts, thinking, what is she thinking right now? What is going on? Or what were you trying to do in this certain scene with this? Because it was so beautifully shot as well, and the music was beautiful, and it really resonated for the emotion that she would have been feeling. I love how you move from scene to scene. It's just like this very flow, and every scene that you set up is a different kind of thing or a different slight perspective of her. Was that very important to you to kind of really create this scene, of just even her doing very mundane things, but obviously a lot of thoughts going in her mind as well?
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was this kind of setting that was important. Like it was the heart of the film for me. Like the house is so something that reflecting her character in so many ways. Like she becomes one with this place, with this garden, with this little china animals or the.
Oh, that was great.
So she becomes one, and you're right, the flow of the film was very important for me.
Yeah.
It took months and months of editing. I had a really talented, amazing editor, which he was the editor of Foxtrot, actually.
Oh, wow.
Do you know that?
Yeah, I do. Fantastic.
Yeah, he's young, we studied together, so it was like, we were months and months of hearing and trying to connect the dots, but it was really important for us to keep that flow. Like, so the diary leads to this, to her doing the table, and then from there you start talking about her, the way she misses her mother, and then she start remembering stuff which her mother might told her, or maybe she saw it in a movie, she don't really remember. So there was this kind of dreamy fantasy, I think, atmosphere that was important to create.
You know what I absolutely loved, and I think, your film, your mom, your story, is that I felt like it would resonate with a lot of women across the world that may have felt like this, missing their mom, being a mom, going through life, difficulties in relationships, all these different things that, women experience, and particularly at that point of your mom's life as well. Is that something that you wanted to sort of almost create, not just this story, but resonate with a lot of women that may be kind of feeling like this character as well,
Right, I totally agree. So maybe you don't make a film because you wanna, like initially you don't think I want to make, like you want to understand something, right? At the beginning.
Yeah.
So I had my grandmother's diaries, which I found. I knew that my mother didn't read them. And you see a character raising from that story, and she's this housewife in the 50s, middle class, and she really wants to break the kind of, like
the
the
mold
housing,
of the 1950s housewife and evolve into more of a modern day woman,
she wants more. She wants to work. But something is, of course, standing in her way. And in the opposite side, you have my mother, which is a woman that has everything. She kind of gave up working with time and became this house thing. And so you have this. So I had this And then you show the film in so many different places of the world, and a lot of women comes to me, and they're like, you know what? It's amazing. It's exactly the same story of my grandmother or like my mother, and I'm like, I know it's amazing, but I'm not surprised at all. Like, it's a story of, it's such a universal kind of stage of being a woman.
A woman, and isn't that wonderful that your story, you know, which is, you know, in a different language, from a beautiful country in a different part of the world, and yet it's got this universal, you know, resonation with a lot of women out there from the past, the present, and, you know, potentially the future as well. I think that's absolutely great credit to you to create this story. What's it like? Because I mean, I'm being international myself as well, and coming to Los Angeles, having your film with New Filmmakers LA at the home of the Oscars, which particular focus on films in the Middle East. What was that feeling like to have your film there yesterday?
Well, I'm still kind of overwhelmed. I don't really know how to react to all this. It's very moving. I don't know, it feels like, you know, it's like a home movie.
Yeah.
It almost like a home, like, of course I made it for the big screen, and I always wanted like big crowd, and I imagine it can go, because as you said, it has such a universal kind of tone. But at the same time, it's a very like self-made film, independent, like, you know, like $7,000 film.
Yeah, but look, I mean, it deserved to have a great audience, and it was so wonderful to see your film on the big screen there. I want to ask the last one thing, because I thought it was so powerful. You ended your film with your mom with this beautiful, beautiful track. I love the song at the very end of the film, and just that motion of her moving, dancing. What message did you want to leave your audience with at that moment, or, you know, with your mum? Because it was very, very powerful to watch.
I guess I was trying to maybe create another way for her to express herself. She actually dances a lot. She dances like folk dancing.
Oh wow!
That's something Israeli people do.
Yeah, I've got involved in that. It's fun.
Good for you.
Yeah.
So she is like, and when she's dancing, she's at her best.
Yeah.
It's not that dancing, but so I wanted to let her express herself in a different way, and I knew that this kind of dance will say something that is bigger than words in a way.
It did.
I always and this is a vision I had to the film. I saw her dancing in that garden. Like, I knew it. It took me years. Seriously, like, I thought about this film for years, like literally 5 years. So it took me years to understand where I want her to stand and what I want her to do, and the song. So, but I knew that this is kind of a way for her to express herself. It was important for me to put it there.
Well, you left us with that, and it was so powerful, and you have to watch Everlasting Mum. And thank you to your mum for a wonderful job, and you directed so beautifully. It was such a wondrous experience to watch your film. And thank you for coming all this way. Glad that you say after those 5 years, you had it with us at New Filmmakers and at the Oscars. Fantastic. What's next for you?
Well, so I have 2 films coming, short films. One was shot, and one will be shot in April.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, great projects, and also a feature film, which I'm very excited about. I'm writing the script.
Wow, amazing. You're very busy, and keep up your great talents, and we're looking forward to see much more of your work. Thank you very much, Elinor.
Thank you very much for bringing me here.
Of course, Elinor, Everlasting Mum, thank you.